Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome to my channel. My name is Diana. I'm the owner of From My Scrap Room on Etsy. It has been, I can't believe it's been 2 weeks at least since I've filmed something. I'm not going to give you a bunch of reasons why. I just haven't, I don't know, haven't been feeling it, I guess. I've been doing a lot of stuff with my shop, which is fabulous. My craft room is a hot mess. Um, and I just haven't done really a whole lot of creating, just background stuff. So if you saw Tim Holtz, his live yesterday with Simon Says Stamps, they did Christmas in July, and I was determined to participate. So I cleaned off enough space to work, and I got all my Tim Holtz Christmas stuff out, and I played along. If you have not seen the video, it's great. It's a great free class. He does a lot of collage. I will put the link right there for his video for the class. But it was so much fun. I did one tag, I think it was this one, during the class. I'll hold it up so you can see. And it's a lot of collage, which is right in my wheelhouse. I love it. I love to collage. Uh, so I made one, and then afterwards I still had my stuff out, so I had to make a few more. I had to. So now I'm looking at these going, okay, these are going to be great in a book of some kind, in a journal that I might sell. I'm not sure. Maybe make a journal for myself. So I was thinking, what can I do with these right now? So I decided, with the stuff still out that I used yesterday, I'm going to possibly make a small journal for these, and a small little photo journal. So I am going to show you what tools I'm going to use, and then I'm going to pull out some things. And my goal is to make a small 4x6 junk journal, scrapbook, to use these in, and then to add some other elements and that kind of thing. So this video will probably be in a couple steps or segments, because one, I don't want it to go too long, and two, I don't have enough working space to have all the things out that I want to use all at the same time. Where my camera is, I should say, my working space. So I'm just going to go over a few things I have right now. If you want to play along, I would love if you join me in creating a small little scrapbook junk journal. And then the tools I'm going to use. So this is my inspiration, so to say. So I'm going to just move these off to the side, or on in the front, so that I can see them. Things that I'm going to use today. Oops, move those over there. I have my paper trimmer. I have a scoring blade, or scoring tool, not a blade. Distress crayons. These are the three I used yesterday. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these, so I'm just going to move them off to the side. I have my tiny attacher. I have a pair of scissors. I have cello tape. The sticker book from Tim Holtz. It's the this one's Christmas 2024. I don't know what exactly was in the kit. I did not buy the kit because I have an abundance of supplies. So I just pulled out stuff that I saw was in the kit that I had similar. So, but this has the clippings in it, and then larger border sayings and titles. Sorry, I should be showing it this way so you can see, and different titles. So this has been used. I've used this last year, and then used one or two stickers from here to make other things. I pulled out a couple pieces of Tim Holtz backdrops, Christmas backdrops that I have. I have a different paper pad. This is a 12 by 12. This is Paper Studio 2022. Paper Studio. So this is from Hobby Lobby, and this is single-sided pieces. So I'm going to pull a couple pieces from here, probably these two right now. Just pull these out because I'm going to trim them down. Make sure that's just two. Trim them down. And then maybe the Santas. I'm going to move this to the side. So some Christmas cardstock. I'm also going to end up using some standard cardstock. This is probably, actually I can't even guess. I don't know what the weight of this is, but it's card weight. It's probably the same heaviness as the pattern paper. But I'm going to use a few of these. What I'm going to do to start is I'm going to create my pages and create the base. So, oh, one other thing. Sorry. I also have some of these file folders. This is the Tim Holtz Sizzix die, and this is the one that comes with the specimen card set. So I cut out a few of these, and I was initially thinking I would do a small book with just these, but I wanted to do something a little bigger in case I want to add pictures or something like that. So I'm going to go with 4x6. So these are going to be more like inserts that I will eventually add in. So I'm going to cut down some paper for my pages. I'm going to start to decorate some of them before I put them all together. One of the things I like to do is when I am doing my junk journals, if I am going to add any trim or pieces like that or fold out pieces, I do all of that before I take it to the sewing machine and before I bind it all. So that's why I'm thinking that this is probably going to be in a couple parts and not the whole thing. So I want a 4x6 tall journal. So 6 inches is how tall it's going to be. And then once it's folded, it's going to be 4 on each side. So I'm going to cut down my paper to 6x8. One of the things you want to pay attention to is if you have a pattern, you want to make sure you know which way it's going to fold. So my page is going to fold this way, and I want it to be 4 inches wide and 6 inches tall. So I'm going to cut this to 6. Here. And then cut this to 8. So what that's going to give me once I fold it is 4x6. And phone folder. So there you go. That's going to be, you use this to measure 4, yes, by 6. So I'm going to do that to a few pages. You can cut along, trim along, and fold. I'm going to, like I said, grab a couple other pieces of paper. I have a couple here. I think these are actually smaller. Yeah, these are 5 by 8.5, which is card size. Which in this book would be a little bit too big. Oh no, wait, this is 5 by 4. I'll probably add this too because I don't always have to have all my pages be the same size, just for variation. So I'm going to go ahead and fold a couple, and they're going to end up making, oh, that is longer. I'm going to trim that. Making a couple basically signatures. Okay. So I'm going to trim this down to 4. If I planned that one ahead, I could have made it a fold out page. Actually, I'll do that next. So I'm going to take this one. Cut it to 6. So if it's 6 by 8, it creates this. Okay. I want to be able to fold this flap out again. So I'm only going to take off maybe 1.5 inches off this end. Okay. And then I'll show you. So if you don't have a scoreboard and you have a trimmer like this, you could use this to score. I'm going to first score my 4. So just leave it open and take your bone folder and put it right in the crease, because there's a guide, a cutting guide here. So you can use that as your scoring piece. So I'm just going to hold it down, give it a score, and then you have a score. Okay, so then you can fold it. And then what I'm going to do is I want to make this side fold in so that in my book I have an element. Okay, so just turn it around and need to score it again at 4. So I'm going to measure it right here at 4, which is where it's going to be. Whoops, right there. And I'm just going to move that so that it's out of the way. Okay, well, make sure it's straight. And I'm going to score that. Okay, so this piece, here's the center. I'm going to fold it in this way. I keep moving that. Hello. There we go. Line it up and score it. You could stitch this and it could be a tuck. You can leave it open so that it opens that way to be another element. You could glue the sides and make it a top. Okay, so there's different ways to use those. So I like to do a few interactive pieces also. So that's why I'm saying I do a lot of this prep work before I bind my signature together. So okay, I'm probably going to add, I'm going to start with probably 6 pieces. Okay. And then I'll keep going. So I'm going to trim down some stuff and I'm going to speed it up a little bit and just get some pieces ready to go. I'm also going to grab out some thinner paper since I do want it to be a junk journal. And right now, or it's more, you know, this is all scrapbooky type paper or cardstock. So I'm going to add some extra things in here as well. So let me grab some of that. Oops, I didn't fold this one. My scoring's a little off. You can really tell with the white, but we'll fix that. There we go. Other things I have that I use for my journals is this is newsprint paper. I have grid paper, and I also have some binder paper. I have tea-dyed paper. Right now my paper's everywhere. Like I said, hot mess. I was tea dyeing some paper, so I have music paper and copy paper. This, not sure if that yellow will match, so I'll just leave that off to the side. But I'm also going to use these. So let me pull a piece out of here. And these are old notebooks, guys. I mean, probably have them if you had kids that went to school, elementary school, middle school. You probably have some of these laying around still. You can find them on Marketplace. You can find them at the thrift store. A lot of people will donate their old office supplies. There's lots. Oh, I'm gonna have an avalanche in a second. Hold on. There we go. All right, so this is 9. So I'm gonna go 6. I'm gonna actually. I want a pocket. So let me think about this for a second. I want it to be 6. So if I score this at 6, so I'm going to fold in 3 inches. Careful when you're doing thinner paper to score, because you could tear through it by mistake. But so if I did, that's a kind of a big pocket. So I'm going to trim a little bit of that off, but I want a pocket. So let's take an inch off. Okay. No, half an inch off. 3/4 of an inch off. There we go. So I'm going to do that. So that's my pocket. So this is 6 by 8. And another 4. There we go. So I'm going to make this a pocket this way. Okay, I'm going to have a pocket here. So I'm just going to adhere this side, and then you can have somewhere for your tag to go. Okay, so I have a pocket now. And they don't all have to be the same size. So I'm going to actually make this one a little smaller for some interest. This one I'm not going to score. It's thin. But it's slightly smaller. I did that on purpose. Okay. This music sheet would also make a nice pocket, but it's really big, so this one could be skinnier because that'll fit that in there also. So let's cut it to 8. I'm going to cut it to 8 because I want it to be 6 inches tall, and it gives me 2 inches to fold. So 8. See, I did it again. I am, if you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit of a messy crafter. Oh, nope, it's in here. Yep, it's in. I should put it right there every time, but I don't. I always forget. So let's see, 6. There we go. I'll fold that up. Fold this in half. Actually, I think this is bigger than 6. Yep. So I'm going to trim off a little bit on this side and a little bit on this side. Actually, I was trying to trim off just the margin piece, so I'm going to adjust it again. 6, 8. Oh, yep, look at that. There we go. And then fold. Okay. So that's going to be a pocket. So then I'm going, oh, I forgot. I have one more. Maybe two more. 6 by 8. And I'm going to cut off the holes. So this one's going to be a little smaller than 4. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side. This back over here. Okay, so here we go. So then what I'm going to do is start to put these in order, the way I want them in order. So I think I might start with this as the outside. Maybe red. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just lining them up. I tend to go a heavy and a light, heavy. Try to alternate them. It doesn't always work that way. But if you have too many heavy pieces in one signature, it's going to be really bulky. So it just depends on how many you're doing. So I'm going to do 4. I can even use these smaller pieces. I might use this anyway. A little smaller. 5. Maybe a folder. Too small. 4, 5. Let's split this up. This will be a pocket inside and the inside. Okay. That's 1. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is going to be 1 signature. 6 sheets of paper. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually scoot this one down so it doesn't get stuck on the pocket. Okay, this is how they're going to be. You notice when you start putting pages inside each other, you're going to have a little bit of trim off. You could cut it off or you can leave it. It's all up to you. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on you personally. I tend to clean up the sides. And I'm drawing a blank to see where my mat is. Where is that? Okay, anyway, I'm going to keep building first and then I'll do all that after. So I have a bunch of these really big paper clips. You can get these probably at the dollar store. I bought this is my little toolbox, so don't look at all this other stuff. But it was jumbo paper clips, $4 TJ Maxx. So it had all these really big ones in them. I know they also have it at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but I don't know what the cost is. It's really just to hold your pieces together while you're working. So for me, this is done. So this is going to go together and just move off to the side for right now. And then I'm going to build 2 more signatures. So I think I want a 3 signature book. So I'm going to have to get out some more paper and make some more. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be right back. Okay, here I am. I am back. Okay, so I found my mat. I had a smaller one. I can't find it. But while I was looking for that, I found these mini file folders. This is a Tim Holtz piece. As you can see, it's not open yet. in my stash of stuff. So I'm going to see if any of these are the right size, that perhaps I can add them in here. Yeah, that would work. These are bigger. Those are a lot bigger. Those are bigger than what I want my book to be. So those ones won't work for me. But these ones could also work. So I tried this little one from the specimen, but it was too small. So this is the die cut piece. This is the one that comes in the pack, so you can see there's a big size difference. But this would work in here for me. So I might go ahead and add one. So what I wanted to talk about first, though, is I was talking about the hangover. Okay. If you are going to trim it off, my biggest tip to you is to make sure it's not a page that you folded. So this one right here, I folded this out so that it would open like this. If I went through and lined these all up and took my blade and just went and cut it, this piece right here, this is the one that is the folded one, and it would cut that fold right off. It wouldn't be the end of the world. You could still glue it in, but if you wanted it to be a fold out, it would ruin your day. So my suggestion is to take that piece out. You can either add it to the front. Whoops. Hello. There we go. And then it makes it bigger. And then you don't have that issue anymore. Then you're not going to cut it off because it's the outside. So it's more true 4 inches. Because if you see this, each page moves out a little tiny bit, and so that's why your 4x6 is not truly 4x6 anymore when you get to the inside. If you were doing a spiral, it would be true 4x6. If you're doing a sew your signature, or there is a no sew method with masking tape that I've seen. I haven't tried it yet, but that's another, then it would be, more true 4x6. But in this case, it's not going to be exact. So I think I might just put it on the outside in this case. So it's going to open, and then I'm going to rearrange these a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I'm going to line those up the way I want them to be. And I'm going to put a clip on it. And then I'm going to clean off this edge. So I'm going to just use my Tim Holtz ruler. There is a metal edge on here. It's not as good as a sewing ruler, but this works great if you're just doing small pieces. So I'm just going to line it up to the edge. I'm actually going to use the lines on here to make it straight. Put this on the edge of here, make it straight. And I'm just going to trim off this excess. So I have an Exacto knife. Hopefully this knife is good. Just replace the blade on here, so can't promise anything. There goes one. Just move them away. I have a different way. I have a rotary blade, which I'm going to get it because this is going to take too long. This is a small travel Exacto knife. I don't think it's sharp enough. So in this case, I have this, and it will line up right on the edge. It'll almost sit on here like that. So that's going to be my guide. But I also don't want to go really fast because I don't want to gouge into it, because again, it's not a sewing ruler. So it's not that well reinforced, but this will be good too. Cut those off. Oh, don't move it. Oh, again. I have it. Ooh, those last pieces. I'm not happy. Line this up again. Line this up again. I also have a very heavy duty cutter. It's called a Carl cutter, which will do 5 or 6 pieces. And that's how I cut chipboard and stuff, which I tend to do for this because this ended up turning out a little messy. But it's okay. I'm going to add some edging onto these, so you're not going to notice that much. It's actually a little crooked. Yikes. Okay, live and learn. Okay, so there's one. So again, if I'm going to trim these up, and make sure there's not a folded page. This is a pocket. It's folding in up, so that's fine. It's basically the blue and the center pieces are the ones that need to be trimmed the most. So it really shouldn't take that much trimming. Another suggestion is to be over more weight on your rotary cutter if that's what you're using. I currently am at a stand-up desk. When I'm doing big cutting, I tend to use my sewing table so that I have more weight or strength behind my cutting, and not just even, but those are all things that you figure out as you're working, like how your station's set up or wherever your workspace is. So that's another pocket. This one is another one. Oh, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Line them up. Trim off the extra. I'm using the grid lines on here just so I make sure that I'm straight for myself. 4 by, oh my goodness, come on, there we go. 4 by 6, and that's going to be right there. There we go. Okay. Clean that up. Okay, so now I have 3 signatures that I'm going to go like this, I think, for my little book. Okay, so when you look at them, like, oh, hello. I did what I said not to do. Guys, look what I did. I cut that off. Boo. All right. Well, I'll show you how I can fix that. Let me trim this right here. Okay, so I just warned you about it and then did it. Smart. Okay, let me try. I'm going to keep this to the side. I'm going to fix that and then keep it. And then I'm going to sew it in as a side pocket. Okay, so now I have these ready to go. So then if I'm going to do any sewing to add trims, you could do that now. If we'd want to go with a no sewing machine type of book, and you're just going to glue in trims, we can do that too. So I think I might do that for this one, because I don't have my sewing machine set up to film on. So that's going to be, these are the inside pages that I'm going to start. For these to live, and then some other things that I might make to go inside. I did say I wanted to use these, so I could add them just in between or stick them inside. I might stick them in. I stuck it in like that. It'll give you a little bit of a tab. Oh look, and there's some with the middle and the end. So that might just be a centerpiece. Yep. Reclip that. Add this in here. And add that one in here. I want the polka dots. Flip it over. I was trying to go top, bottom, middle. So let me put this over here. Oh no, it's the same. There we go. There we go. Hello, brain. Top, middle, bottom. Okay. So now that I have my inside, I need to figure out my cover. I'm going to sew these into my cover. So this is part one. Okay, that's just putting your pages together the way you want them to go. So now I'm going to stick these off to the side and move this. I'm going to leave this out because I'm going to use it again. So my signature is almost done. Now I need to figure out what my cover is going to be. I like to use chipboard for my covers, or old book covers as covers. Actually just took a book apart. I have to remember where I stuck it. So I had this really old book that the inside was all falling apart. You could use covers like this too. I think this one's too big for that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to cut it down. I'd want to leave it this size, but you can use book covers and reuse them, or you can use chipboard. I keep a basket. Whoa, that was not good. I keep a basket of old chipboard, or thinner chipboard pieces. Okay, so these are like covers. This is from a mixed media book. So there are different weights in here. I have old bookboard pieces. This might be too big. Could use that. Or too heavy, I mean. There's corrugated board. So there's all kinds. So this is the stuff, like I keep this kind of stuff. You can also use a cereal box for your cover. So I have this one. This is a good one. And this is, I mean, it's probably just from a like a paper pad or a pad of paper. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use, I'm not sure what I'm going to use for the cover. I use fabric. Let's try that. So I'm going to pull this out and move this back. You could also use, if you don't have chipboard and you have old manila folders, these would work too. Excuse me. There's already a spine here you could use, and then you could also, since they're perforated, make it so that it's two folds so that it's a little thicker. I'm just going to show you that real quick. I use two to fold it. It gives you a thicker spine, and then you can put your book in it like that. I'm going to use this just so I can show you. Not everybody has chipboard, so I'm going to show you that way. So I'm actually going to use all three. I want to make my spine so the 3 folds on your manila folder is 3/4 of an inch. If you look at, actually let me use this, this would be better. If you go to an inch, and this fold right here is right here, so that's 3/4 of an inch. So that'll give you this much space for each spine. Okay, so I'm going to measure out from, go back to here, from here, from this piece of the spine and this piece of the spine, because I want to give my book space to live. Okay, if I'm doing a 4x6 book, I usually add 1/4 of an inch at the top and the bottom, just so the pages on the inside don't get damaged. So if I do 1/4 of an inch, excuse me, not 1/4 of an inch on top and bottom, 1/4 of an inch longer, so it gives me 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to go to, okay, with pencil, I'm going to mark 4 1/8, and then same on this side, 4 1/8, line that up. The 1/8 is right there, right there. Or 1/8. Okay, and then from here I want 6 1/4. The reason is 4 1/8 on this side because this is going to be folded. Okay, so I'm going to get 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch here, and then 4 1/4, because when you center it, you're going to get 1/8 of an inch here and 1/8 of an inch here. I hope that makes sense. So back to the trimmer, I'm just going to fold it and trim it. And I'm cutting this side. Whoops, I'm going to line it up at the bottom because that's where I marked it, right? 6 1/4. Yep. So 6 1/4. Trim the bottom. And then I'll open it up. And here I'm going to go 4. Right, 4 1/8. Yep. Right where my pencil mark is. And turn it this way and do the same thing. 4 1/8 right there. Okay, so now I have, and I fold this, and then I'm going to fold this side. I will have a spine and a book. So So now if I take these three and stick them in here, they will have space to live. Okay, there we go. So that's the first part of my book. Next, I'm going to cover this. You can use pattern paper. You can use fabric. You can sew a cover on. I'm going to use fabric and Fabri-Tac. Hopefully I still have Fabri-Tac. If not, I'm going to use collage medium because I'm going to just go with it and see how it goes. So that will be the next video and the next steps. Hopefully you will follow along if you want to join me. And then we'll get that going. And that Christmas in July little book is to house all these fun little tags that I did in the Tim's collage holiday collage class. So hope you enjoyed that. Look for the next part. I am going to just keep working on this and then just split the video in a couple parts. So hopefully you'll have it back to back to back to watch and play along. Thanks for crafting with me, everyone. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.